So this made me think 24-hour cash machine. Wouldn't it be absolutely amazing if you had a 24-hour cash machine? So I saw this while I was on my way out of Starbucks, grabbing my wife her morning coffee after I leave the gym. And, sometimes you just see something that stops you in your tracks and gets you thinking. And then you start to draw all kinds of parallels. And, that's just the way the mind works. It's kind of strange, it's kind of crazy, but that's the way it works. So I'm sitting here in the parking lot after grabbing my wife's Starbucks, and I see this, the 24-hour cash machine. And again, I started to ask myself, what if? What if I had a 24-hour cash machine that just spit out cash at me whenever I wanted it? And you know what? The more I thought about it, the more I thought about my situation, I came to realize that I've got a freaking 24-hour cash machine. I have it. I've had it for a while. And I absolutely love it. And you see, this has to do with my business. And, I built something fantastic without realizing what I actually built. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So I've been a sales trainer for a long time. And when I started, I just did one-on-one stuff. I'd work with a lot of medium to large companies. And it was a one-on-one type of training. But as my model switched and I tried to scale up, I learned that in order to do that, in order to get to a lot more people and train a lot more people, that I needed to get my marketing under control. Well, forget that. I didn't have to get my marketing under control. I had to get some marketing of some sort to begin with. I'd never marketed before. I knew sales, but marketing was absolutely a mystery to me. So along this journey, the first thing I did is I tried to figure it out. Quickly realized I don't know what I'm doing. I'm blowing money. Next thing I tried to do is hire someone to help me. Tried to hire a few people. They were all really good at one thing. Some weren't good at anything. It didn't work out. So then I tried to hire some very well-known, very good companies. Paid about $20,000 a month. Didn't work out. Didn't get actual results. I paid a lot of money, and they created a lot of cool stuff, but it didn't lead to any new customers. So then I partnered with somebody who was supposed to be a marketing expert. And that didn't go anywhere. They didn't actually do any marketing at all. So that failed. Then I went back to trying to pay people again. And finally I threw up my hands and I said, I've wasted enough time and money. I just have to learn to do this myself. So for the last couple of years, I've been on this marketing journey, and I'm still learning. But I think I've learned quite a bit. And because of that, without even knowing what I was doing, I just through a lot of trial and error, I ended up building myself a 24-hour cash machine. Now, if you don't know much about me or my business, it's basically a one-man show. We do about anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000 a month in revenue. Profit margin is about 90% of that 100 or 150,000 a month. Very, very was my business model. Very low overhead. So we don't spend a whole lot to produce business. And that's my 24-hour cash machine. I've actually got something automated that runs in the background that pumps clients into our system and really just keeps churning and burning, bringing people in and turning them into customers with accuracy. And it's repeatable, and it's we can adjust it if we need to. And it's a 24-hour cash machine. What I mean by that, it's working. It's bringing in customers. It's selling them, whether I do anything or not. So if you know anything about, my company, $1 Million Sales Trainer. So I've got my sales training company, Midwest Revenue Group, and then I've got another company called $1 Million Sales Trainer, where I actually train people to do what I do, but in different markets, different industries, different niches. So in that company, we really just concentrate on three things. How do you get leads? How do you convert leads? And how do you deliver value? So I want to kind of zero in for just a second and talk about how do you get leads. And when you talk about how to get leads, there's really a few components. We're building our list, and then as part of that, we're then turning skeptics into believers. And then final step in that piece is to just automate that whole machine. And here's the deal: if you don't automate your marketing machine, once you stop working, once you stop hustling, you stop making money, right? Once you stop, it's done. The money dries up. So you can't take a vacation. You live in constant fear. You freak out. What if something happens to me? What if I get pulled away? What if I'm doing the training I was supposed to be doing or delivering, and lead stop? And then there's a roller coaster type of up and down activity of cash flow, right? And also, if you don't automate your machine, your marketing machine, you hit a ceiling, right? Because there's only so many hours in a week, and once you've maxed yourself out generating leads and selling them, there's a ceiling. You have to either automate or start hiring people, and do all kinds of stuff to get more people into that machine, right? Which usually creates a lot more work, more headache, more complexity, and I've been there. It sucks. So build your list, turn skeptics into believers, automate your marketing machine. Now, if you do manage to automate your marketing machine, I now know what that feels like. What happens is everything's on pilot. It's kind of set it and forget it. So you can literally just stop driving this thing. You can, take your hands off the wheel, if you will, and spend time doing high value activities, which is absolutely awesome because those high value activities allows you to deliver a better product, concentrate and focus on your customers, and that builds business too through referrals and other things. The other thing about automating your marketing is you only have to build it once. It takes some time and some energy to build, right? There's actually some really cool tricks you can use to build it without taking up a lot of your time. You don't have to sit down for weeks or months and build this thing out. You can actually do it a few minutes a day while it's running. So it's pretty cool. I'll share that with you sometime. But you only have to build it once, and then it's on autopilot, right? So I want to go through real quick just the formula I've used. Now, I didn't learn this formula. I didn't take a course. I didn't know what I was doing, but I did a whole lot, and a lot of what I did was wrong. Some of it was right. And like with any process, right, you keep doing more of what's working and refining it, and you cut out that stuff that doesn't work. So here's my formula. We start with Facebook ads. Now, the Facebook ads we use send people, they do one of two things, right? They either send people to my website or they collect their information, so I have a lead. No matter what they do, though, whether it's sending people to my site or collecting a lead, it's ultimately going to end up with me collecting an email address. That's really, really, really important. Now, this isn't as complex as what you think. In fact, you know what? In most cases, when I do lead collection, I don't even offer any type of lead magnet. No traditional lead magnet anyways, right? I don't create anything. I find some resources that are already out there, and I simply leverage them. Now, I do that by sending people to my webpage. And here's a quick look at my webpage, right? I send them to my webpage, and then if I'm not collecting the lead through Facebook, then I send them to this webpage, and then I'm having them click on this box and putting their their email address in there. The other reason why I don't just always collect emails through Facebook with their lead generation app is because it's dirt cheap to get them to my website. So to get someone to click through to my website costs me about 20 cents. To collect a lead is $3 to $5, depending on what I'm trying to do with that lead and who I'm targeting. The other awesome thing I like to do is when I send people to my website, now I've got them tagged through Facebook. Now I can turn around, and when I do my lead generation Facebook ads, all I need to do is target those people who've already been to my website. So these are warm leads, and these will take average cost. This is what I did actually to take my average cost per lead from $10 down to $3 to $5. So really cool trick there. So on the website, I'm looking to either just, no matter what happens, I get some value out of that link click, right? I've just tagged them, so I know where to point my marketing to next, or I'm grabbing their email address. So after I grab their email address, either through Facebook or through the website, what do I want to do next? Well, I want to pre-sell and nurture them. So I learned this term pre-sell through a guy named Taki Moore, brilliant coach. He coaches coaches. And you use this nurturing, you use an automated system to just really do all the pre-selling for you. So my sales calls nowadays, I have very few. A lot of people just go through my automated sequence and click to buy. But when I do have high dollar sales calls, $4,000 to $10,000, all of those are only 15 minutes long. And before I even get on the phone with them, they've already told me, I know what this is, I know how much it costs, and I'm ready to buy. I just have a few questions. So that's how I automate everything. So about 90% of that's automated. The last 10%, those 15-minute phone calls, that's not automated yet, but I'm training someone up to do that for me. So I'm completely out, right? So really cool stuff. And when you're pre-selling and you're nurturing, just two quick tips that will be massively value. Make sure in every single email, this should be a no-brainer, but make sure in every single email, it's valuable. Don't sell people to death, right? It's not about what they can give you. It's about what you can give them. And here's the way it works. You give them enough, they're going to ask for more, but only if it's valuable. So concentrate on delivering value every time you communicate with anybody on your list. The next big tip I have is have passive calls to action, passive CTAs. These have been amazing for me. I used to try to drive people. Every marketer out there tells you have to tell your customer what to do. You have to tell your prospect what to do. Frankly, that's bullshit. You don't have to. They can do what they want. And you know what? Not every customer is the same. They're not in the same place in their journey, right? Some are just getting to know you. Some are skeptical. Some have been in your system for a while or have heard about you from others, so they're ready to take some type of next step. And others come in, 4 or 5% who are just ready to buy. So how can you give the same message to all of them? It doesn't make any sense, right? Because they're in different places in their buying journey. So I use passive calls to action. And I'll tell you what mine are. It's simply this. Once I deliver value in my email, under my signature, it just says, hey, P.S., if you want some more help, here's some different ways I can help you. And then I have options for everything I could provide, right? Join my Facebook group. Look me up on LinkedIn and connect with me. Watch these free videos. A number of things. Or apply to work with me, right? I put everything in there. So it's kind of, remember reading those books back in the day where you choose your own adventure? It's just like that. I let them choose their own adventure. This has been massively impactful for my business. Now, one of the places I point them to, here's a quick little bonus. One of the places I point them to in that choose your own adventure call to action at the bottom of all my emails is YouTube. YouTube is, I don't know how to even, YouTube's absolutely freaking amazing. So YouTube has... really, I don't do any SEO, but YouTube has put me at the top of all of my Google searches. So search John Martinez Sales Training, the REI Sales Academy. My videos pop up. My website pops up with zero money spent on any SEO, search engine optimization. This is because Google owns YouTube. So when you have a strong YouTube presence, it wants people to see its other platform. It helps Google. The other thing is this. It's a real simple, free way to store your content. Hey, that's good. It's extremely simple to use. And I want to tell you about what it actually does for me. So every month I get an email from YouTube and it says, hey, this is how your channel's performing. So the email I got this last month, here's what it told me. It said, you've had, I can't remember, it was somewhere just shy of 200 new subscribers to my channel, a bunch of likes, a bunch of shares, so my information's getting out there. But that all culminated in over 60,000 minutes of viewing. So why is that important? I'm a one-man show. 60,000 minutes of viewing. So when they're viewing my content, they're being pre-sold. They're being they're being literally showed value. Hey, this is what we do. If you like this, watch more. If you really like that and want some more help, they'll probably become a client. So let's break down 60,000 minutes. 60,000 minutes is 1,000 hours. So that means last month, that's the equivalent of me having 25 full-time salespeople selling on my behalf. So if 25 salespeople were spending 40 hours a week doing nothing but being in front of my prospects, telling them about what we do, and no salesperson, no real life salesperson actually does that, right? They probably spend 10% of their time actually talking to prospects. So instead of 25 full-time salespeople, if a full-time salesperson really only spends 10%, let's 10x that. So that's the equivalent of 250 full-time salespeople selling on my behalf. Now, that is absolutely amazing because 250 full-time salespeople, let's say we don't even pay them very much. Let's say we only pay the average salesperson $40,000 a year. Now, you know the average salesperson is not going to work for $40,000 per year. But what does that equate to? That equates to a sales force that I believe, if I've done my math right, a $10 million a month sales force selling for me. And I do it all for free. 250 salespeople, 40 hours a week, actually selling and being in front of prospects 10% of their time. If they only made $40,000 a year, what I've built for free is the equivalent of me spending $10 million a month on a sales force. Freaking amazing, in my opinion. Now, I'm no marketing guru. I'm horrible at marketing, actually. And because I'm horrible at marketing, I try to outsource it. And when I got so frustrated, I had to figure this out myself. So I wanted to share with you some things that I figured out on my own. And maybe you could take bits and pieces of this. Maybe you could take my whole formula and maybe you can just put it into bits and pieces into what you do. And hopefully it has the same type of impact it's had for me. This is John Martinez. Have a great day.